Okay, fam, welcome back. So we're going to be going over the Grayscale Trust's Bitcoin, the NASDAQ, and a couple other indicators. So with that being said, let's get it. All right, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet tonight. Got a bunch of stuff going on. But of course, we are going to talk about stuff because I'm sure you guys want to know what's going on with the markets and whatnot, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging. So on the NASDAQ, we have what's called a falling channel or descending channel. This is a bullish pattern. Okay, the target is the top of the channel, so that would basically be previous all-time highs here. Do keep in mind that the MACD is about to get a death cross on the weekly time frame. Not great. Okay, obviously not really what we want to see. Last time we had the death cross, we were in the midst of a downturn, and yeah, at the death cross, it just kept going lower. That was that flash crash in August. Not great, right? Something I do want to point out here, though, is that if you take a look at the last few times that we ended up bottoming out, you can see this little pullback here. What happened? We pulled back, came back up, retested during the middle of a pullback in April, and then boom, took off. Okay. Then I'm going to draw another line here again. Again, this one during the August timeframe is not going to be perfect, but if we zoom in on the charts here, you guys can see that the price action that came down below these previous resistance tops here was very little. Okay, there was a very small amount of price action below here. There was this crazy wick down. That was basically just an undercut, Wall Street whales going out there trying to liquidity sweep, so to speak, trying to grab liquidity before eventually moving up. If you're a trader, if you actually trade in these markets, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Smart money antics at its finest right there. And then once again, I would like to show you guys that we are pretty much right about that previous swing top there, okay? You're starting to see a pattern here. So basically what I'm saying here is even though we're getting this MACD death cross, I think the likelihood that we're at a bottom is pretty damn close. I would be shocked if we actually did go lower. I really just don't see that happening, okay? Plus, we got the bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, and we, of course, have hit oversold here multiple times on the 4-hourly. Eventually, something in these markets have got to give, okay? All right, so there's that. Bitcoin, already told you guys about the 92,000 level. It appears that it wanted to hold that level, so that's good, obviously. The next thing I wanted to show you guys here before we get into the trusts is this, and I could not actually even believe my eyes when I was seeing this. But apparently the dip that we had down here was not actually the bottom, or maybe it is the bottom, but it wanted to do like a double dip here. So yeah, the stocks above the 50-day on the S&P are at 16. Let me put into perspective what this means, okay? This means that only 16% of all of these stocks in the S&P 500 are above their 50-day moving average right now. Okay, that is an extremely small amount. What this also means for investors who are looking to get in either position trading, swing trading, or long-term investing is the price of these stocks are extremely cheap right now. Okay, this is a rare signal. We have hardly ever gotten into this zone in the last 5 years. And the NASDAQ, obviously not quite into the oversold territory, but you can see how rare it is that we even get close to this level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th time now, obviously it'd be a little bit more common, which makes sense because the NASDAQ is much more volatile than the S&P, but still kind of gives you an indication, right? 25% of all of the NASDAQ stocks are above their 50-day moving average. That means 75% of these stocks are below their 50-day moving average, which means they're incredibly cheap right now, okay? For those of you guys that are looking to get a steal of a deal in these markets, this is the indicator that you would want to be looking at. And obviously for the longer term investors, it would be this one, okay? The stocks above the 200 for both the S&P and the NASDAQ. But in this case, just to put things into context, I'll give you guys an example here, okay? If I go, let's see, 15 times, I think it's, or 500 times 0.16. So that means only 80 stocks, if I'm doing the math correctly here. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so only 80 stocks out of all 500 in the S&P right now are above their 50-day moving average. And that is the simple moving average, not the exponential moving average, okay? That means that 420 of those stocks are at deep discounts right now. And of course, this is also a bottom indicator. I mean, again, like I said, I would be shocked if we did not start moving up immediately starting Monday's trading session next week. Okay, so now getting into the trusts here. So I'm not going to go over GBTC because it pretty much mirrors the price of Bitcoin. You guys already know what to expect with that. Okay, so LTCN, same thing as before. Buy zone still between 1250 to 18 here. We're still kind of sitting on the support there. We have not gotten below it, which is a good sign. Targets anywhere from 27 to about 55 up here for a measured move of about 350% gain. BCHG. So I'd say anywhere from about the white line, so 530 going up to 580 for your, kind of the best possible price you can get at this point. And then 20 to 24 for targets up here. Or I suppose you could even put it at 1250 on this one. So 130% going all the way up to 340-ish. HZEN, so we did hold the structures. So I would say $5 at this point is going to be the buy area. Targets going anywhere from $8 up to 1050 for about 110% gain here at ETCG. Flat on the week, which is kind of crazy. So it means it didn't go up, but it didn't go down. It's just kind of sitting there. So buy zone anywhere from 980 going up to 1280 on this one. Targets ranging from 16 going up to 20. You can kind of pick your poison on what you want to do here with this, but it's about 105% gain on the maximum side profit. Okay, so ETHE. Yeah, anywhere in this green box. So I'd say about 2350 going to about 2850, somewhere in there, with the cup and handle target as the profit potential target here. So 52.5, 125% gain. And of course, you have the giant cup and handle. And we've shown you this same pattern on Bitcoin and gold and the S&P 500. And assuming it plays out the exact same way every time, I mean, it's pretty textbook. I mean, what you guys are seeing on the charts is what's supposed to happen according to the pattern. So GBAT 5 to I'd say about 8 on this one, since we're kind of stuck in between the zones. That would be what I'd be looking at for a buy area. 32, the all-time high for the target. If you manage to get your average down at 5 and you held till 32, I mean, you're already talking a 6x return, so 510% gain. FILG. So we are above the EMAs at this point. I'd still say, I mean, because we're not above this swing high right here, I'd still say anywhere on the EMAs is a good buy zone. So 60 to 65. Once we get above the swing high, it obviously changes things. The all-time high is at 400, so that's what I would be setting my sights on. Nice clean, roughly 7x or so, 550% gain on this one, GLIV. So we got the inverse head and shoulders pattern here. This could actually be the completion of the right shoulder. I mean, it's pretty textbook based on what I'm seeing here. So the buy area here, anywhere from roughly about 12 to 15 on this one, and the inverse head and shoulders target at 31. Personally, I'd be looking for the all-time highs as a potential profit target at $80 for roughly about a 7-ish X or so, 7 to 8X, somewhere in there. 617% gain. G-Link. So yeah, anywhere on the EMAs, 76 to 96 on this one for a good buy area, and 220 for the target. Again, the EMAs are a retracement tool, so when it comes back to retest these, more often than not, in this case, in a bull trend, it will create higher highs. So 192%. You could think of the EMAs kind of as a launching pad, right? So basically it's pretty much a springboard is what it is. So we take off from it, revert back to the mean, and then boom, it should serve as kind of a catalyst to launch the price up to the next level. That's usually how it works, and the inverse obviously is true as well. Okay, so GSOL, I still think this $20 area is going to hold here, but I would say 16 to 24 could be a good buy area, with 80 to 115 being the targets up here for a pretty large 635% gain on this one. GXLM, Yeah, I don't really like this candle. This is a very indecisive candle, but I will say that the fact that it's not a red candle is a good sign. So still anywhere from 36 to 40 here, potentially as a buy area. Uh, I would say probably about the swing high up to the all-time high. So 70 to about 96 is what I'd be looking for targets here. You guys, of course, can pick your own 170% gain. But I mean, the idea here is if you're in crypto, you want to make as much money as you can, right? Because it only comes around once every 4 years. Okay, so mana squeezed in between these two white lines here. Again, 10 to 20 for the buy area. Target all the way up here at 70. Maximum move, minimum move on this 3.5x, maximum move 7x, 601% gain. Zcash. So we are still sitting above the EMA. So I'd say anywhere from the EMA to this kind of white line up here. So $7.45 going up to 630 for potential buy area. And then targets going anywhere from 960 up to about, I say 1030-ish on this one for potentially 100, I'd say about 100 to 110% gain. Okay, so the last thing I did want to mention here, and again, I know a lot of you guys hate that I wax politics, but it matters, okay? Unfortunately, as much as we don't like it, politics do matter in finance. I did want to point out that supposedly Trump's quote sentencing, which I think is a hoax, it's a bunch of BS. We all know it's politically motivated, right? People in finance generally are very smart people. They know what really is going on behind the scenes. Okay, it's not really that complicated to figure out. But yeah, so anyways, his sentencing is done. Apparently, no jail time, no anything. He's pretty much going to get off scot-free, which the fact that they're even saying he was guilty of anything, even if it's just for show, is ridiculous, in my opinion. But that's not the point I want to make here. Okay, the point I want to make is that is one more uncertainty that the markets no longer have to worry about, which is all the more reason why I'm convinced that the markets are going to go up next week, okay? Because they know that he will be stepping into the Oval Office on the 20th. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.